NYYST.
Holla, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here, ain't stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas.
Well, welcome back. This is episode 486 of the NYYST podcast. We are live on NYY Underground. I am your host, Christian, and I'm with my co-host, Sem.
What's up?
What's up, bro? We haven't talked all day today. I thought you were dead or something.
It's tired.
Tired of life or just tired, like not sleep? Tired of having responsibilities? Let the people know. What are you tired of? You're not sleeping well? You just, is it a euphemism for something? I know I said that word wrong.
Euphemism.
I got a little frog in my throat there.
I just going to bed with anxiety of Aaron Boone's bullpen picks.
Aaron Boone, the Boone-headed manager of the New York Yankees. The Yankees took 2 out of 3 here this week over from the Minnesota Twins. We wanted to get greedy and get a sweep. The Yankees needed to get greedy and get a sweep, but it didn't happen after we sat through a 2-hour rain delay on Wednesday night. We'll talk briefly about the Minnesota series because it pretty much went exactly how I thought it would, but we have a lot of other things that we need to talk about. But before we do that, if you're in the chat here live tonight, thank you for joining us. Please like this video. Make sure you are subscribed to NYY Underground, 50,000 strong. Let's go for the next 50K here, okay? And if you're listening to this show on your favorite podcast platform, please subscribe to the show there as well. And tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. So I did a show on Sunday, and who did they play this weekend? The Astros, okay? So I blocked it out of my mind already. And I said that things could get tricky for the Yankees because they probably weren't going to hit Joe Ryan, and they didn't hit Joe Ryan, but at least they took care of, quote, business. The first 2 games of the series, they beat the Twins. They got some good pitching. They hit some home runs. So what do you expect them to do against the Twins? The problem is that when I recorded it on Sunday, the Yankees were tied for the 3rd wild card in the loss column, and it's Thursday, and they're tied for the 3rd wild card in the loss column. So even though they played a little bit better against a team that they should play better against, it didn't really mean anything in the standings. So we're still in the same situation that we were a few days ago, where the Yankees are clinging to their playoff lives here. And while there's not a lot to nitpick about this series against the Twins, because we were there on Monday night. They G and Rice and G. I forget who Bryson had hit in front of Stan, right? Is that how? I don't remember. But anyway, they went back to back. Jazz hit a home run. Cody Bellinger hit a home run. So it's what they do. They hit home runs, and Will Warren pitched a hell of a game. Rodon, I got to give him a lot of credit. He threw 31 pitches in the first inning, and then he was able to get deep into that game. Even Cam Schlittler pitched well yesterday. And then, if that's really the one thing you want to nitpick about Aaron Boone, is that going to Yuri De Los Santos in a 1-1 game in the 6th inning, when every game is friggin' important, doesn't make the most sense in the world. I still believe Mark Leiter Jr. is somebody that you put ahead of Yuri De Los Santos. He's probably 4th. You had Doval, you had Weaver, you had Bednar. You could have probably gotten 4 innings out of the 3 of those guys. They weren't going to hit Joe Ryan. So, I'm not going to go crazy about it. It just, to me, when I said this on Sunday, that the Yankees have to face a certain level of urgency. The situation that they put themselves in by being the actual worst team in the American League from June 13th on meant that there is no tomorrow for the Yankees. And if you listen to the show from Sunday, I said that expression about 50 times, and I'm going to say it probably about 50 more times here, because there is no tomorrow for the Yankees. Just like Apollo told Rocky, There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow for the Yankees. Every single game matters from here on out for the Yankees. We've got 40 games left in the season. The Yankees have to go out there and win as many of these games as they possibly can. There's no tomorrow here. Like, oh, well, we got to. No, you can't save anybody for tomorrow. You have to put your best nine out there. You have to go to your best relievers, and whatever happens, happens. And going to Guerrero de los Santos when you have Leiter, you have Weaver, you have Doval, you have Bednar all rested, ready to go, is not showing the level of urgency I need to see from the Yankees when they have a sweep in front of them. And, maybe if you keep it 1-1, you can scratch a run. That's why I say, even though they didn't score, if the game is 1-1, you don't know what happens. You don't know that the game is going to play out exactly the same way that it plays out. So that's why you have to keep it there. And obviously, De Los Santos comes in. He gives up a handful of runs there, and I go to bed because I'm like, I don't need to see this. Sat through a 2-hour rain delay. It's 11 o'clock now. They're not coming back. I mean, we've seen enough Yankee baseball to know this. It was just one of those games where they were just going to flatline into the off day. So that's the one thing you want to criticize about the Boone and about the Yankees in this series. It's still. They said, oh, well, we got the first day off, whatever. No, you have to play with a certain level of urgency here. I can't believe that it's August 14th, and I'm looking at the standings, and the Yankees are friggin' tied with the goddamn Guardians for the last wild card spot. This is pissing me off to no end. How does this not irritate the manager of the Yankees where he's saying, I know De Los Santos has been good in some spots, but I don't need to use him right now because he can be good and can also just puke all over himself like he did on Wednesday night. So I don't want to get agitated, and I'm already agitated, but that's one thing that I would say is just you have to stop playing for tomorrow. You have to stop playing like there's going to be more games down the road because any one of these single games can cost you October baseball. You did this to yourselves. You played bad baseball for 2 fucking months, okay? You did that. I didn't do that. You did that. And now you don't get the luxury of saying, well, so it's a tie game in the 6th inning. I don't want to go to my high leverage guys now. You lost that luxury when you decided you were going to be the worst team in the American League for 2 months. So that's the one thing I would say Aaron Boone has got to stop doing right now. Everybody's got to be available at every single juncture. And I said this on Sunday about David Bednar. He didn't use him on Friday because he pitched 40 pitches on Wednesday with a day off. And I'm saying, I guarantee you, if this is October, he's on the mound. Well, the Yankees have to start treating these games like October. I don't care what the calendar says. For the Yankees, this is October. When you are tied for the last wild card, and yes, somebody's going to tell me that they're 1 game up, but I'm a loss column guy. They are tied in the loss column with the Guardians. When you are tied for that final wild card spot, you have to treat there's 6 weeks left in the season. Every day is October now. You did this. I didn't do this. I did not do this. I don't want to come on here and be agitated and talk like this and say, hey, you know what, guys? We need to see a certain level of urgency here. I wanted to be sitting here jerking around on this episode, 2-3 months ago, saying, hey, you know what? Yankees are rolling. We're going to the postseason. Let's talk about some bullshit for an hour. But no, now we got to sit here because of what they did and talk about their lack of urgency, because that's continuing to show what the mindset of this team is. Tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, there is no tomorrow, guys. I'm just going to leave it at that. You have no luxury of saying tomorrow when you've done this for the last 2 months. Not 2 weeks, not even 3 weeks or a month. 2 months. You were the worst team in the American League. The luxury of tomorrow is gone for you.
That's it. There's no other way to put that. If they don't start playing like their asses are on fire, they're going to watch. They'll slip behind, then they'll lose. They'll fall behind in the loss column and all that stuff. And then everyone says, oh, they have their destiny in their hand and all that stuff. And you're taking it out of your own hands when you get to those points. It's not a situation that the Yankees want to be in. A couple months ago, it's a situation that we didn't even dream that we would be even contemplating. And yet here we are. The De Los Santos thing just got me aggravated yesterday, and I got out of my chair, and I was like, I'm gonna take a shower before I get to bed. And by the time I got out of the shower, we were losing. I don't remember what the score ended up being. I didn't even check this morning. I
Four
just
to one.
assumed, I fell asleep. I didn't even watch the whole game. That's why I'm dragging ass today because you see, I sat through a 2 hour rain delay. I can't imagine being there. Those people sat in line waiting for that bobblehead. Imagine not getting the bobblehead and you stood through all that. Then I saw the rain coming into the stadium, and that's what you put out there. And it's a sucky thing to watch. It was a sucky thing to watch when you're at home in my air conditioning in the comfort of my own bed. So it's just the same shit over and over again. And then the excuses. Just say, you know what, my bad. I messed up. I probably should have went to him. Probably should have went to lighter or something like that. But this is what I talked about last time I was on here. There's a script that put out in front of Aaron Boone, and when he gets to point A, he just sticks to it. There's no deviation from the predetermined plan. It's the same thing day in and day out. Oh, well, we went here because of this. Okay, great. Well, how about it is. It's aggravating, especially because you have the day off the next day. Use somebody. They're gonna get the rest. It's just I don't understand some of the things that we've been watching. And then I mean I don't know. I was gonna start going off on the whole Jasson Dominguez thing, but it's
Oh, we'll get there. Don't worry.
I know it's just everything has just been pissing me off lately. It's hard to be a Yankee fan at the moment. If you're not frustrated, I think you're just not paying attention to what's going on in actuality.
No, I mean, you have to be frustrated because the team is not playing. I mean, what did these two wins against Minnesota mean? Well, let's see. I mean, if they go to St. Louis and they lose the series, that meant nothing. And then we're right back to square one here, where the Yankees just can't get out of their own way. But, you know, it could this is where we are in the season. It could have been worse, meaning that we kind of all figured they probably weren't going to hit Joe Ryan, and they could have easily not based on the way they played, but we've seen them easily lose any of these types of games throughout the course of the season. They didn't. They won them. So I mean, let's hope that maybe springs them here a little bit because they're going to go to St. Louis, a team that were also sold at the deadline. There's no reason the Yankees shouldn't win 2 out of 3 at the very minimum in St. Louis. But the other thing I want to talk about from last night's game was I thought Cam Schlittler was great. He threw 86 pitches in 5 innings. And, I get people were saying that he probably should have went out there for the 6. I don't necessarily have a problem with that because the Yankees really haven't put him in that situation yet. So, and again, we have to remember this is what the Yankees chose to do. They wanted Schlittler for 5 innings every fifth day. This is what they wanted, right? So, I don't have a problem with him getting pulled in that situation because we're not going to. You also have to. They're in this weird spot with him where he gives them the best opportunity to win, but you can't jeopardize his future or your future by overextending him right now. And we're in situations where where the kid's dealing, maybe you should try to get another, at least go batter to batter there. If he has a long at bat, then you take him out of the game. I don't know. That to me is not that big of a deal. I thought he was good. His breaking ball probably to me looked the best it's looked in the entire time he's been up here yesterday. So maybe that was one thing that I always, excuse me, was like looking for was him to get his breaking stuff in a better situation or get over more. And he definitely worked on that. So we'll see what goes on with him there. But there's two real topics that we need to discuss, and we'll get to them in a second. But another thing from before we wrap up this twin series and move on to other things. The other thing from last night, I saw a lot of people were upset with, and I was checked out of the game by this point. I'll fully admit it, but I woke up this morning and saw it that they were upset that Boone didn't pinch hit for Wells late in the game. I think Minnesota had a lefty on the mound. Well, it came out today that he couldn't because Paul Goldschmidt is hurt. Am I wrong for not caring that Paul Goldschmidt is hurt? I don't
No.
personally, honestly, I personally don't think this affects this team that much.
No, I don't think it does at all. What's his offensive splits? It's something like ridiculous. But he went from one of the hottest hitters right behind Aaron Judge to being abysmal at the plate. It's just, I mean, his defense, you're going to miss his defense because obviously Ben Rice isn't a first baseman like Paul Goldschmidt is, but his bat just, it's not contributing
Oh,
enough to
we're gonna
where,
get there. Where I'm gonna tell you, Ben Rice playing first base is not even in my thought process right here. I'm
but,
looking up Goldschmidt's splits here for a
but,
second.
people, like, I could understand why people are upset about that, that it comes out he's hurt, but like, I was thinking about it too. This game was delayed 2 hours. How every team lost yesterday that we needed to lose, and we actually had an opportunity to gain a game, and Boone still went with De Los Santos. It just that's what's bothering me the most. He had to know that this game actually meant something at that point. You go into this series, ultimately I wanted to take 2 out of 3. That was my ultimate goal. But when you see that the other teams lost, it becomes a must-win game. You needed that sweep after that. That's what was going to let you, all right, give you that little bit of breathing room with that. You can't be tied with the Guardians.
Well, this is the only thing that kind of sucks if Goldie does wind up on the IL is that he still has tremendous numbers against left-handed pitching. He's hitting 404 against lefties, 228 against righties, 1191 OPS against lefties, 584 against right-handed pitchers. So, I mean, that does take that was a weapon the Yankees had against lefties, but overall, I don't think it's as big of a loss as some may think that it is. And, I heard somebody say that Bellinger can't play first base because Rice is going to play first base. And that's incorrect because Ben Rice is your catcher now. Ben Rice is the Yankee starting catcher. And I was somebody that was super high on Austin Wells coming into the season. I'm not saying his career is over, and people want him to get as much hatred as Anthony Volpe gets. When I tell you a lot of the reason why Anthony Volpe gets the shit thrown at him as that he does has nothing to do with the way he performs on the field. It's what the Yankees sold to us. The Yankees didn't sell us that Austin Wells was going to change the franchise. Okay, remember that. So that's why he kind of flies under the radar here a little bit. But he's been awful. There's no two ways about it. Austin Wells does not deserve to play every day with the way that he's been performing at the plate. Ben Rice is my starting catcher right now. And I have not seen anything. And I think Rodon went out of his way to praise how well Rice received him the other day. So, if the pitchers are okay with it and there's not anything that we're seeing defensively that teams are taking advantage of, I have no issue with Ben Rice starting behind home plate. I think the team is better with Ben Rice behind home plate because especially and I've been saying this even before we realized that Goldschmidt was hurt, that the Yankees' best lineup with against right-handed pitching is with Clay, Jesus Christ, I did it too.
Cody.
With Cody Bellinger at first base and Jasson Dominguez in left field. The problem right now with that is that the Yankees are scared, and this is telling, that they did this. They're scared to play Jasson Dominguez in the outfield while also having to play Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield because that is an atrocious defensive outfield. That is putting a lot of pressure on Trent Grisham where he's got to cover both sides. But if Judge is going to be back in right field, they're saying as early as this weekend against St. Louis, that's a move you have to make. Cody goes to first, Jasson in left field, Judge back in right field, Stanton back as the DH. Okay. That's your best offensive team, especially against right-handed pitching. And this is one of the big topics we were going to talk about here today. The Yankees did not play Jasson Dominguez once against the Twins. The Twins started 3 right-handed pitchers. Jasson Dominguez could not even sniff the field in this 3-game set. And like I said, I think part of it has to do with the fact that they're really scared to play Dominguez and Stanton both in the same outfield. But I'm telling you that they're also telling you how they truly feel about Jasson Dominguez here because they could have played him. They really could have given him at least one day here. They gave him none. They pushed Stanton for 3 days in the outfield. And especially knowing the weather was bad, I don't know if you really should have probably pushed him for the third day, to be honest with you. They did. Dominguez didn't see the field once. And we've seen him. He's not hitting. Even his fielding has regressed. I think the Yankees are telling you a lot about how they feel about Jasson Dominguez, and it's far, far from what we thought that they felt about him when he was 16 years old, signed with the organization. He was the Martian. They were going to, oh, is he going to be the next Mickey Mantle? He's going to be the next Clint Frazier if we're not careful here.
No, it's the truth, and that's the travesty that we're dealing with now. And I don't think that Jasson Dominguez is a bad baseball player. Ultimately, he's getting like the Gleyber Torres treatment. He's being forced to play out of position, and then we're surprised when offensively he's not playing all that great, and then he's not even getting consistent at bats, and it becomes a problem. You have to keep Stanton's bat in the lineup. So they're finding the way by doing that is by playing him in right field, which is in itself scary because ultimately you don't want him out in the field. You want Stanton DHing. I mean, it's just a nightmare. Like this is where I don't envy whoever's making I'm not even gonna say Aaron Boone, but I'm gonna say whoever's making the lineup for the New York Yankees. It's I would be pulling out my hairs trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, and I'd be nervous to do it. But I mean, I just don't understand the thought process to not even give Jasson Dominguez one at bat. I mean, his defense hasn't. He had that one. He jumped for the ball the other day early. He missed the ball. He probably could have gone there. It would have been a highlight reel play if he caught it. But other than that, like I don't feel that Jasson Dominguez has cost us any games. So I don't. I understand his defense. He's not playing left field like Cody Bellinger would be playing it. But this has been the problem all season long. He plays 2 games and then he sits out. Plays 2 games, he sits 3. Plays 3, sits out 2. Now he doesn't play for 3. I couldn't imagine how frustrating that has to be as a player. Then you're getting up, you're pressing because you want to hit the ball, you want to play. It's a mental thing, it's a physical thing. And it's just for the life of me, it's not making sense. You know, I don't know. I'm very aggravated today. It's
Well,
hard to talk when you're very
the
aggravated.
problem with Jasson Dominguez right now is the Yankees also can't trade him. They've exposed him at the major league level now, where that whatever value that you had for Jasson Dominguez, where he could have headlined a major blockbuster, I don't think he can do that anymore because of the
No.
way the Yankees exposed him this season. So that's more again what you want to talk about the Yankees player development, and we see the roads littered with the Clint Fraziers and Miguel Andujar's having a bounce back year, so credit to him. But even what happened to him, and Joel Sherman was right. If the Yankees had traded every single prospect that had come through their system in the last 10 years, except for Aaron Judge, they'd be okay. Every single one of them. Not one of some. Yeah, there's a lot of Yankee prospects that are up and down the major leagues here that play in the big leagues, right? But who's the game changer? Who's a star? Who's an all-star, right? Because you also have to remember, like Gleyber Torres, technically not ours. We traded for him, and then, but you want to still say he spent some time developing in the Yankees minor leagues. It's fine, but we also seen how he didn't probably develop to the player he could have been in a different situation. There's a laundry list of these guys. It's just Aaron Judge is here and everybody else is over there with the way that the players have been developed. Even Austin Wells now we're seeing. We all had high hopes for him. The guy doesn't even belong on a major league field right now. We're talking about Ben Rice should be the starting catcher over Austin Wells. So, and the Yankees, once again, like, what are you doing with Jasson Dominguez? You're not playing him and you didn't trade him. And now his trade value is hurt. You're going to go and try to trade him in the offseason. What are you going to get for him? You're going to he can headline a package for a superstar now? I don't think so. Teams have seen him hitting 250 this year with no power whatsoever, which is surprising to me. A liability in left field. I mean, I don't think he's been terrible, but he's also not good out there. I mean, I think adequate or serviceable might be the appropriate words, but not anything special out in the outfield. So last year, we were told, oh, well, we're going to play Alex Verdugo, even though he's dog shit and had a 500 OPS for 4 consecutive months because Jasson Dominguez hadn't played a lot of baseball. And then this year, they're still not letting him play baseball. So it's got to be one or the other, man. Either he's got to play or don't play him. And if this was an honest to God, I think we all would have been furious had the Yankees have left Jasson Dominguez in AAA this year. But if this was going to be his usage, if this was going to be Jasson Dominguez's usage in 2025, he should have stayed in Scranton, or he should be on somebody else's team, and you should have traded for something that could have really changed the outlook of the 2025 Yankees. Because this is ridiculous now that we are nearly done with the season. We have 6 weeks left, and we still had our opinion of Jasson Dominguez, of what he can be at the major leagues, is like in the fucking toilet right now. And I'm not saying he can't bounce back from that, but do you see his career going more like Anthony Volpe or being a superstar in this league? Where now, you're going on year 3 or year 4 where this guy is barely making ends meet as a hitter and a defensive liability. Whereas this was another guy, number 1 prospect. Oh, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. Every time the Yankees put the hype train behind somebody, it's like, maybe we should let the train hit us instead because we know how that turns out.
No, and it lines you up for the whole Spencer Jones thing, because now people were calling and asking about Spencer Jones, but what are they going to do with him? And that's what it all leads into, and that's why you get the anxiety about Yankee prospects here. We watched it with Florial, we watched it with Frazier, you watched it with Andujar. It's just this common thing, and then everybody goes for nothing. Peraza gone for nothing, and these are all overhyped. Then I'm not gonna get back into the whole Anthony Volpe's the only one that they never sit. But now you got the only person that was probably hyped up as much as Anthony Volpe, or even more, was Jasson Dominguez. And yet here we are looking at it day in and day out. You don't know if he's gonna make the lineup, and it's baffling. And that's what when Boone goes to these lower end pitchers and pivotal points or tied games, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? And that's why I don't understand who gets to play, who doesn't get to play, what's the criteria for who's gonna play. And because like you could have Ben Rice playing his ass off, mashing the ball defensively, they'll still find a way to put fucking Austin Wells in there. And that's what I'm convinced at, because I don't trust the Yankees to put together a good lineup at this point. It's just, we don't know what's going on. Every day you wake up, there's a new friggin' lineup. There's no consistency to anything. So it's even hard to talk about baseball. Like, people are coming up to me and they want to talk about baseball, and I just look at them and I'm almost like, my mind is like in a pretzel, because like, I don't know what they're gonna do. They went out at the trade deadline and got 2 shortstops. All right, cool. They're still fucking playing Anthony Volpe every day. It's made Anthony Volpe.
In fairness to him, he's been a lot better.
He's been bad.
We can't take anything away from the way Anthony Volpe's played.
Absolutely not. And maybe that's what they had to do early on. But like, why? What was the point of going out and getting 2 fucking shortstops? They needed a third baseman. We needed more more pitchers for the bullpen and all that stuff. But why was the obsession with whatever?
Well,
and that's
Rosario kills left-handed pitching. He's very versatile, and somebody wanted the Yankees to go out and get in the offseason, and I don't have a problem with that. Caballero is a defensive guy, and he's there like he's a better version of what they wanted from Duke Ellis last year, where Duke Ellis was just around to steal bases. He's a better version of that because he can actually hit a little bit. I know he's like a 220 hitter, but Duke Ellis was like an 100 hitter, and he's got insane. He's a good defensive player. So, I don't know, again, that's something I don't have a problem with. He's a guy who's under control for a little bit. So, and that's not an issue to me. I mean, the problem with the Yankees is that, and I'm stunned at this, man, because I'm looking at Dominguez's numbers right now, and Dominguez has played. If I told you Dominguez played in 100 games this year, would you believe me?
No,
Well, he has.
really.
I'm stunned because the Yankees have played
Yeah,
100.
but how many of those were like one plate appearance where they brought him in the ninth inning, or how many times was he played and then yanked out in the seventh inning? So they're 100 games, but they're
Well, I would need
probably
to. Well, let me find out how many games he started because I don't know how many times the Yankees have pinch hit for him.
probably not as many, but he would get pulled out almost. He would play and he would get
He
pulled out.
started 90 games this year.
Okay. And out of those
Well,
90 games, I bet you he finished 70.
it's pretty crazy. I thought that number would have been a lot lower, but still 90 out of 121 games. He's playing 75% of the time. I mean, when you look at the percentages, it is speaks to you a little bit there. But if you would have told me that Jasson Dominguez was only going to play 75% of the games this year, start in them, I should say. If he's only going to start 75% of the games this year, I would have said, what's the point? And I get it. He's only 22 years old. There's room to grow. There's room to improve. But that's what you guys say about Anthony Volpe. And has his recent, is this since the All-Star break, is this just him in one of his good peaks here? Is he going to continue it for the next 6 weeks? Is he going to continue it into hopefully the postseason? Is this the kind more of the guy we're going to see in 2026? There's the jury's still out on Anthony Volpe, right? So, what is Jasson Dominguez? He's a guy right now that the Yankees are telling you we don't trust out there in left field. We don't trust. We don't even want to see him at the plate. We're not even going to try to figure out how to get his bat in the lineup because we don't even need that. And now, because of all that, he's a guy that if the Yankees want to move him in the offseason, teams are going to lowball you on it. So you're going to be stuck in this perpetual cycle of you don't want to play him, and now you can't trade him. The worst thing that's going to happen is that in 4 years, Jasson Dominguez is let go for international slot money. I can see it now.
Yeah. It just seems to be the way of the Yankees, and that's what we talk about, and that's where the aggravation comes from because you've seen it, and that's what gives you the anxiety when when in our minds we have this predetermined outcome that's going to happen in 3 or 4 years, and then when it actually happens, you get even more pissed off, which I don't really quite understand the human brain when you know something's going to happen and you're like, it happened, I told you, and you get more aggravated, but it just seems like the road that we're going to head down. Unless Jasson Dominguez has some great, glow up all of a sudden and he becomes what he's supposed to be, you know, they should have put him right into center field. It was hindsight's 2020. He probably shouldn't play in his center field. There's a lot of different what ifs. There's a lot of different, I can't think of the word usage right now. A lot
Well,
of
I
different.
said this that I will admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about Trent Grisham, but still two things can be true at the same time. The Yankees should not have allowed Trent Grisham the amount of at bats to have this type of season. That also showed you what they thought of Jasson Dominguez. They weren't ready to commit to him when they had a guy on their roster that they didn't even think was good enough to play over Alex fucking Verdugo in the postseason last year. They chose that guy over Jasson Dominguez.
Is Verdugo even on a major league
No,
lineup right now?
he signed with Atlanta and
Yeah.
he got designated. I don't know where the hell he is. Probably barking at a wall somewhere. Yeah, the Yankees.
No.
I mean, sure, the Yankees got it right because Trent Grisham's been great this year. 76% of his home runs have either tied or given the Yankees a lead. I mean, he's been awesome. I mean, there's nothing offensively, there's nothing bad you can say about it. But again, I go back to that is that they didn't think he was good enough to play over Alex Verdugo in the World Series last year when Alex Verdugo couldn't hit a beach ball with a friggin' oar.
Tennis racket. An oar.
But then that same guy was good enough to hinder the growth of Jasson Dominguez. And why can't and if everybody's saying that Dominguez is a natural center fielder, which I believe as well, why can't Trent Grisham play left field? What the hell is wrong with Trent Grisham playing left field?
Or what's wrong with Jasson Dominguez playing center field and Belly playing left field?
That's what I'm saying. Why can't Jasson Dominguez be a center fielder? And if you wanted to get Grisham in there, he can play left field.
Did you? Who was on the radio WFAN the other day when I told you had to put it on? It was an old player from
Roy
the
White.
Yankees. So he got into. I don't. Did you hear it?
No.
He explained it, and he says that it's harder to read the ball coming into left field than it is in center field. And he actually mentioned and directly started talking about Dominguez and how that's a problem fundamentally. He says what he said though is that he should have picked up on it by now, and that shouldn't be an issue. But in the beginning of the season, that could be it. But again, that rocks your
Well, I can speak to that because the only time I've ever actually seen Aaron Judge uncomfortable playing the outfield at Yankee Stadium is the handful of times he played left field. It is a different read off the bat. It's a bigger outfield in the left than it is in right, and he doesn't even center. I mean, center, if you're natural in center, people think going left or right, it's not a video game, man. That's what people don't understand. Oh, I can just do this. It's not. Guys have different reactions. The ball comes off the bat differently. Your vision, all this other shit, man. The way the crowd looks, it's all different. But the Yankees are telling you a lot, man. This series was really telling to me about what the Yankees think about Jasson Dominguez. And if he's not in the lineup when Aaron Judge is ready to come back, let's say Aaron Judge is in the outfield on Friday night. If Jasson Dominguez is still not in the outfield, is still not playing, I don't know what this kid's future holds, because then you have the open outfield spot.
Yeah, we started off the season thinking that Trent Grisham was the fourth outfielder, and now it's become Jasson Dominguez. And then if Slater didn't get hurt, is Jasson Dominguez the fifth outfielder? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even you really don't know. So it's just this open-ended thing and it's just Jasson Dominguez is living in this purgatory, whether he's riding the bench or it's frustrating me as a player. I'm sure it's frustrating him even more, and that becomes itself a problem. But they need to make up their mind with him, and the shit or get off the pot kind of comes to mind. It's either stick it out with the guy or beginning of next season, see what you could get for him, because it makes no sense doing this stuff every year. Because if we traded him the beginning of this season, I can only imagine the players that we could have gotten and what teams would have been clawing at us to take him from us. And now here we are again with another prospect that's, not worth his weight in gold. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I'm not ready to, write the obituary on Jasson Dominguez's career.
Me
Again,
neither.
He is only 22 years old, but I think the way the Yankees are handling him this year gives a lot of insight of what they think of him, which is crazy. This is absolutely insane that we're talking about this with 6 weeks left to go in the season, that the Yankees are seemingly giving up on Jasson Dominguez. And I understand a lot of that has to do with the Aaron Judge injury, but if this kid was who you thought he was, you're finding a way to get him in the lineup in these last 3 games. You're not even letting him take a pinch hit appearance as a right-hander. Everybody's screaming and yelling, where's Goldschmidt? Where's Goldschmidt last night when they want to pinch hit for Austin Wells? Nobody's bringing up Jasson Dominguez. They got the fan base brainwashed and gaslit once again that Jasson Dominguez can't hit right-handed. Who said that? And he had been better. He had started to trend in the right direction. And then the Yankees start, my God, bro, all you need to know is that Austin Slater was pinch hitting for Jasson Dominguez with a lefty on the mound. That tells you everything you need to know right there. I understand you brought Slater in here to hit lefties, but not at the expense of Jasson Dominguez. I mean, for Christ's sake, What does that say to this kid? That a nobody, a nondescript baseball player that's here for 2 months and will be gone and forgotten about, that he'll be a 10 on Guess That Yankee in 15 years when he had a cup of coffee here. Austin, and then we'll be sitting there watching the game in our wheelchairs. Austin Slater, I don't remember him. That's me as an old man in my wheelchair. And then it'll pop into my brain because when I'm going senile, that's the only thing I'll remember. Oh, I remember Austin Slater. He played 2 games and pulled his hamstring, and they pinch hit for him. They pinch hit Jasson Dominguez for him. That's the guy. What does that say to Jasson Dominguez? That he was supposed to be the future of this team. He's supposed to be the next superstar, and Austin Slater's getting at bats, getting his at bats. This is what the Yankees are telling you right now. The fact that nobody's upset that Jasson Dominguez wasn't up last night tells you everything that they're doing a good job of telling the fans what they want you to know about Jasson Dominguez.
Pisses me off. I'm just aggravated today. I think that's why I'm having trouble putting the words together. I just can't. I can't get over the fact. I'm tired of the analytics bullshit. Like I get it, it plays into the game, and but I don't know. I get so aggravated because that's why De Los Santos came into there because they saw the lane for him and whatever whatnot, and then you cost yourselves that get game out, and you don't know if they put anybody else in, would they have won? But I would have liked our chances a lot better. And then because of Dominguez can't hit righties, that we're gonna start doing this shit.
Lefties.
Lefties, wherever the hell. Sorry, my bad. We're gonna start doing this shit, and it's just it's like it's all I hear about: statistics, 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 and it's just it annoys the hell out of me because statistically, why would they have traded for Jake Bird? I told you, like I said that on the podcast the one day. Why would they trade for a guy that's of a 2.2 something ERA at the most hitter friendly ballpark in the entire league, and then like a 7 something ERA in every other, you know, it's obviously he pitches like shit on the road. And when you're taking him away from where he's comfortable, he's on the road. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but analytically, that didn't matter. So it's like either we're driven by statistics or we're not, and it's cherry picking, and it's just seems like it's the flavor of the week, or you know what who Hal decides that he wants to put in today, or who Cashman, you know, would like to, you know, it's just seems like that's almost more what it is, that they're just wake up in the morning and they're pulling names out of a hat. I just don't there's no method to the madness. Because at one moment statistics matter, the others they don't. Because the statistics really matter to this team. Anthony Volpe wouldn't be fucking playing every day. You know, now we've played him to the point where he's starting to play good again, and now they have the excuse, see, he turned it around, But if you're doing everything else off of analytics, he shouldn't even be left in the position to be in to start playing good again. He should have been benched. So I just don't understand. I'm frustrated with my team because I can't make heads or tails of what the hell is going on anymore. I have to text you to get me off my fucking ledge because I'm so aggravated every day, and I'm becoming an irrational, very irrational, more irrational Yankee fan than I've ever been, and I'm pretty irrational at times. And it's I need a vacation.
So
Like
go on
I
vacation.
need
So go on vacation, bro.
I really just need to get away, and I just need to not watch Yankee baseball for a week because my mind is so torn up over
I'll
watching
be
this
honest with
shit.
you, that was a lot of fun that week. I was waiting to watch this team.
You know, I haven't had that really this year. I mean, I went to Nashville and I was wearing my Yankee hat. And people are stopping me while I'm walking into. I'm drunk as hell. People are asking me, "Oh, are they winning? Are they winning?" And then I get to go back to my hotel room early the one day, and the Dodgers knocked the piss out of us. So it's like it's a long season, and it's a really long season when you got Boone making boneheaded decisions the entire time.
He makes
There's 40
boot-headed
games left.
decisions.
Yeah, it's got 40 games left, and it's just like, what's he going to surprise me with tomorrow? And that's kind of how it is. You expect to take 2 out of 3 tomorrow. You want to take 3 out of 3, but in real reality, I'm prepared for us to get swept. That's sad. That's not the way it should be.
I,
Ugh.
I'm confused by a lot of the things I'm seeing in the chat tonight. I love you guys for being here, but you're all weird. Anyway, um, let's move on here. I'm taking a breath here. I gotta just like chill out for a second here. Because if you didn't know what the term brain rot meant, watch the clip of Chris Rose and Trevor Plouffe talking about Giancarlo Stanton and possibly going to the Hall of Fame. Okay. Trevor Plouffe, former MLB baseball player, now professional John Boy butt sniffer, and Chris Rose on their podcast sat there and debated the candidacy of Giancarlo Stanton to the Hall of Fame. And they do not believe that if Giancarlo Stanton gets to 500 home runs, that he is an automatic lock for the Hall of Fame. They just don't see how he can get into the Hall of Fame. And one of the things they brought up was that he'd have the lowest career WAR of any 500 home run hitter in the Hall of Fame. Well, number one, somebody's got to have the lowest career WAR of any 500 home run hitter. I mean, somebody's got to have it, right? And number two, I do not care like a little bit about what Giancarlo Stanton's career WAR is. There are certain magic numbers in Major League Baseball. There are certain numbers that guarantee you a trip to Cooperstown. 300 wins is one of them. We will likely never see another 300 win pitcher in our lifetime. If one does get there, guess what? He belongs in the Hall of Fame. If you get 3,000 hits, you belong in the Hall of Fame. I don't care if you are 3,000 hits are in they're all singles, doesn't matter. And your OPS is like 690, whatever. You belong in the Hall of Fame. 500 home runs is one of those magic numbers. 500 home runs puts you in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry to break it to anybody that thinks otherwise, but Giancarlo Stanton is going to the Hall of Fame if and when he hits 500 home runs. Period. Stop. End of story. This is not up for debate. This is not a discussion. 500 home runs in this era puts you in the Hall of Fame. And I say in this era, people tell me that home runs are cheapened. Well, this is supposed to be a clean era of baseball. There are no PEDs anymore, right? So the only 500 home run hitters that are not in the Hall of Fame all are tainted in some way. By the way, I'd still put every last one of them in. So if you're doing this clean, nobody has been kept out of the Hall of Fame that has hit 500 home runs. And why would Giancarlo Stanton be the first one? Tell me. Why? Because he's a DH? Wait a minute. David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure he was on the list too. But Giancarlo Stanton is where we're drawing the line now, right? Oh, he's injured a lot. Great, he's injured a lot. Mike Trout's injured a lot too. You going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame? Even if he doesn't get to 500, I'm pretty sure he's a lock, isn't he? But he's injured a lot too, right? Well, we're going to draw the line at Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton's probably having the best run of his Yankee career here. I think over the last 30 games, he's got the highest 30-game OPS out of any 30 games he's ever had as a Yankee at 35 in chronic pain. I expect those guys, the Plouffes and Chris Roses of the world, to go out there and try to give you this brain rot sports commentary that Giancarlo Stanton doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame even with 500 home runs. What I don't expect is Yankee fans to sit there and tell me that even with 500 home runs, Giancarlo Stanton does not belong in the Hall of Fame. You guys have disrespected this man from the day that he put on pinstripes. You booed him the very first game he ever played in pinstripes. You booed Giancarlo Stanton. Did he whine about it? Did he cry about it? Did he tweet about it? No, he took it like a man. He kept going out there playing hard every single day. What does Giancarlo Stanton do for the New York Yankees? He puts them on his back in the postseason. The guy can't run. The captain is hurt. I'll play the outfield. I got it, coach. But, he's not going to be a Hall of Famer. We're going to knock his 500 home runs. Give me a break. Giancarlo Stanton belongs in the Hall of Fame if he gets to 500 home runs. Giancarlo Stanton should not even be debated about going into the Hall of Fame if he gets to 500 home runs. And every single Yankee fan that is listening to me right now should be on the hills top screaming about Giancarlo Stanton's Hall of Fame candidacy because of what this man has done for us. You all booed him from day one. He's handled New York as well as any superstar has ever handled New York. Never said a cross word about anybody. He's the one. You want to talk about how the Yankees are okay with everything and everything's hunky-dory and there's tomorrow? He's the one that said, I don't want to see any of yous wearing those AL championship rings. That's not the one we want. They're handing him the MVP trophy in Cleveland. I don't want this. I'm looking for more hardware. I'm looking for another trophy. But you're going to knock him because he gets hurt. You're going to knock him because you don't think 500 home runs means anything. This guy has been a great Yankee. And what upsets me the most is that he has not been able to stay healthy because then there'd be no argument about him. This guy has an MVP award to his name. This guy carried us on his back multiple postseasons, including the only time we went to the World Series under the bubble-blowing buffoon. He carried us there. Yankee fans should not be knocking Giancarlo Stanton's Hall of Fame candidacy because 500 is a lock. And every Yankee fan needs to and should be believing that. And we should all be fighting against people that's saying that it's not a lock. We're not drawing the line at Giancarlo Stanton. 500 gets him in.
So he's at 441, right?
I believe so, yes.
How much has he been hurt? If Giancarlo Stanton wasn't hurt as much as he is, he's already over 500. And we'd be maybe talking about other numbers. That's what makes it impressive is that Giancarlo Stanton has been riddled with injury his career, and he's still putting up that type of number. He's doing it clean. I personally don't. I don't. It's not a jab at any of the older guys that did it because I personally think if people want to do steroids, let them do it. I don't care. But he's doing this clean and he's doing it with a lot of injuries. It's amazing that he's been able to do that. And then, like you said, when it comes to the postseason, I mean, like he's been the only one on the team. He's phenomenal. He never gets up at bat, and it's not like, when he hits a ball, it almost looks effortless. If he makes solid contact, everyone's always looking for it to go out of the park. It's just like he's another electric hitter that he draws you in. He's exciting to watch. He's a great, again, role model. Aaron Judge, role model. Giancarlo Stanton, role model. They're both the same. There's not a bad thing you can say about him other than that he gets hurt. Okay, the guy's big. His calf muscle looks like it's the size of my waist. Like Christ, the guy's gonna get hurt. And right now he's hurt and he's playing through it. Kudos to him. That's enviable. I think that so I don't understand how anybody could say anything bad about him. He makes it to 500. I don't understand what the argument is. He gets hurt a lot. I think that's even more of a reason to put him in because he was hurt and he still got got to that number. A lot of people get hurt and you say, "Oh, he could have done this, he could have done that." Giancarlo Stanton's hurt and it looks like he's gonna do it.
My brain is like fried right now. I don't know why. All I keep saying over and over in my head is Giancarlo Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton. I'm like, where's the rest of the words? But look, I will die on the Giancarlo Stanton hill. Okay, I've been a big fan of Giancarlo Stanton from the moment we got him. I know a lot of people didn't want him, said it was a redundancy in a player with Aaron Judge. Look, Giancarlo Stanton is a New York Yankee. That's what he is. And it sucks that he's dealt with these injuries. It sucks that his general manager is an asshole and has to go out there in the media and tell you, well, getting hurt is just part of his game. Yeah, we know
Yes.
that. We know that, but it's not something that needs to be said out loud. We know that. Okay. You don't have to rub that in his face. I will die on that hill. I am going to defend Giancarlo Stanton till the end. This guy is carrying this team right now. This team is in a major funk. They've been the worst team in baseball in the American League for the last 2 months. And Giancarlo Stanton has turned it on like it's October because he realizes the dire need of this team winning baseball games right now. So he's doing everything in his power to make sure the New York Yankees can win baseball games. We've seen this guy try to run to first base. Nobody wants to see him in right field. Coach, I got it. Put me in, coach. Skip, I'll play right field. Cap can't play, I'll do it. Can easily get hurt and miss the rest of the season. He understands that the Yankees right now need him, and he'll do it. And I know this has nothing to do with him being a Hall of Famer. This is more along the lines of I don't get Yankee fans that feel the need to knock this guy. That I have Yankee fans in my comments when I defend Giancarlo Stanton about, and then with this whole Chris Rose debate. Well, 500 doesn't mean anything, or it shouldn't be a lock, or whatever. You're a Yankee fan. And you're saying that. You're a Yankee fan, and you're gonna give me a reason or give me some stupid bullshit of why Giancarlo Stanton shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if he gets to 500 home runs. 499. Sorry, G. I love you. You don't get in. 500. Yeah, you're getting in. It's a milestone. Some no no sport builds its history on numbers more than baseball does. And 500 is one of those iconic, immortal numbers. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. So does Manny Ramirez. So does Mark McGwire. So does Gary Sheffield and Alex Rodriguez and Barry Bonds and all the other guys that are not in because of steroids. Steroids didn't make those guys hit 500 home runs. I put them all in. Roger Clemens, too. They all belong in. But for a guy that's done it clean, and you're going to draw the line at him? Give me a break. 500 puts Giancarlo Stanton in the Hall of Fame. And I've seen some people in the chat saying that he shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he should get in. Why? What are we talking about here? I don't care if he doesn't get to 2,000 hits. I don't care what his career average is. I don't care what his career WAR is. 500's the only number that matters. And if he gets there, he's in, and he should be voted in on the first ballot. And any writer that doesn't put him on is just trying to be one of these too cool for school guys that's like, oh, well, look at this number and look at this number, and here's my plug. Shut the fuck up. Because 500 puts Giancarlo Stanton in the Hall of Fame, okay? There's guys that can get in without it, and let's take a look at what their averages are, RB, all these other things. I understand that there's more to it, but certain numbers are the golden ticket, my friends, and 500 is one of them. Giancarlo Stanton is going to be a Hall of Famer if he hits 59 more home runs.
He's got, what, 2 years to do it? Right? That's a wrap. 2 more years?
I believe so.
Yep. 2 more years. 2 more cheap years. I'll take it. I love Giancarlo Stanton. Like I said, I like good baseball players. I like role models first because it's what allows me to get my children to the baseball. So that's where I started at. And Giancarlo Stanton's a class act. So, I mean, when he came to the Yankees, that's probably right around the time I started watching baseball again. I didn't really watch it then. I started watching baseball Aaron Judge's his rookie year when he came up. And then I didn't really get heavy into it till like a year or two later after that. But
Yankees hold a club option in 2028, but he's only guaranteed under contract for another 2 years. I mean, can he get it the rest of the way where he needs 2 more 25 home run seasons? Can he hit 9? I mean, 9 might be asking for a lot the rest of the way. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee that he gets there because we know of the injuries with him. It's not a guarantee that he gets there.
And he's injured right now, and we don't know what's gonna come about that. Is he gonna go for surgery as soon as the season's over? Is that what that's gonna be, or is this just gonna be something that he has to deal with for the foreseeable future? Like
He
we
needs
don't.
59 home runs. I mean, he hit 59 in a season once, right? But nobody's expecting him to do that at this age.
No, I mean, dude,
At
he hit
this
a
stage,
freaking laser beam the other day, and then he walked stand up to second base. I couldn't believe it when he turned first. I was like, oh my God, he's going for it. That guy hits rockets.
even at 59, this guy's hitting consistently. If he hits a ball 115, you're almost disappointed. Like, that's not that hard for him.
I did what didn't he have most of the hard hit balls just since the Statcast era?
Yeah, he's a lot has a he's very high up in the leaderboards. Like I think O'Neal Cruz or has a bunch of has a
Gurriel, I
couple
think
of them
topped
too.
it the other day or something. But like the guy, and he's not in his 20s. As far as baseball goes, and I hate to say it because I'm older than him, but he's old for
He's
baseball, you
he's
know?
an old 35 with the injuries.
So, and he hits the ball and it just goes. It just, I will never forget when we were at the game and there I am next to the foul pole. All you see is me in amazement watching the fucking ball go over me. That is an image that will be in my head forever. I'm on TV and all you see is me like a moron because I was amazed. I could not believe how far that ball went and how fast it got there. Giancarlo Stanton is again, he's a specimen that should be studied because he looks like he's chiseled out of marble by Michelangelo. The guy just goes up there and he hits baseballs. It's unreal. I love watching him play. It's like he's an older judge.
Melvin brings up in the chat like Beltran's got 435 with 2,000 hits. Andrew Jones has got 434. They're not in. Well, I don't have a problem with either one of them, man, because I think they were at the top of the sport in their respective eras. I don't have an issue with either one of them in being in. I don't have an issue with either one of them being out either. To be honest with you, they don't have the magic number. Stan does. Stan could have the magic number, and this could all be for naught. We're having this conversation where it might not mean anything. He might not get to 500, and you know what? If he doesn't, then he doesn't. You know. But the fact that we're saying it 500 is not guaranteeing Giancarlo Stanton is stupid. I don't like just coming out here saying things are stupid, but that's a stupid argument that he's not guaranteed at 500. It's stupid. And when you're telling me one of the reasons you're saying that is because he'd have the lowest career WAR of any 500 home run hitter, it's brain rot. It's a literal definition of brain rot. It's low quality internet content. And somebody might say that about this show. And you know what? You know what? You're entitled to your opinion. You're stupid, but you're entitled to your opinion.
So what would it be? Who has the lowest WAR?
I think David Ortiz does because he doesn't play the field. A lot of what WAR is composed of is your defensive metrics.
Yeah, you're not putting Giancarlo Stanton into the Hall of Fame because he was a great left fielder. You're
I
putting
mean, if
him in
Harold
because
Baines
he's
is in the Hall of Fame and Giancarlo Stanton, then why can't Giancarlo Stanton be a Hall of Famer with 500 home runs?
uh, Big Poppy's 49 years old.
Yeah, I mean, does that surprise you?
It does a little bit. Like I don't know. I think I'm just growing up and I'm not I'm people are getting old. It's just I don't know. The doctor told me the other day, that's what happens when you're 40. And I had to like pump your brakes, lady. I'm not 40 and I'm just been looking at everyone's age lately, and I'm like, oh my God.
If you're not a Yankee fan and you want to take part in the brain rot, go right ahead. I don't expect you to appreciate what Giancarlo Stanton does for the New York Yankees. But if you're a Yankee fan and telling me that Giancarlo Stanton doesn't belong in with 500 home runs, I, 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 I don't even know what to say to you. Honestly, I don't know what to say to you. Did you miss the postseason last year? Did you miss it? Because yeah, everybody still goes back to the home run that Soto hit in Game 5. But who was the MVP of that series?
Yeah, Giancarlo was like automatic.
Who put the Yankees in a position to let Soto misplay a ball in right field and for Tim Hill not to be put in the game in Game 1? It was Giancarlo Stanton's home run that did that. Okay, just pointing that out there. The guy has been money. He's been clutch. He does what the team asks of him. there's no Yankee fan that should be arguing against Giancarlo Stanton. In fact, Giancarlo Stanton should be getting some of the loudest ovations out of any player when they're announced during introductions. The fans should have that level of appreciation for what this guy does. And I think people get lost in the contract, they get lost in the injuries, and they don't appreciate how much he does for this organization and how much, he actually puts it out there. The guy, it's hard to say. People are going to say, "Well, how are you going to call him a gamer? He can't even get on the field." The guy's a gamer, bro. When there's the money's on the table to be won, I don't know of any other player in a Yankee uniform I want up at the plate more than I want Giancarlo Stanton up at the plate.
I think the biggest gripe with him is besides that he's got hurt, is just that his contract costs a lot of money. You've passed up on players because of it. But he's been money when we've needed
That's
him
not
to.
his fault that they chose him.
No.
That's not his fault that the Yankees didn't even want to talk to Bryce Harper when he begged to be a Yankee. That's not his fault.
No, that's the owner's fault because they didn't want to go over the salary cap. But that's like those are the only that's the only other thing that you can, but it's not even a valid argument. Get over it.
And I always
Everybody
go
wants
back
to
to
make the most
2018
money.
on the home opener in 2018. I don't care if he struck out 10 times. I think he struck out 5 times in that game. You boot him? First day in pinstripes, you boot him. He could have had a negative attitude towards every single one of us for the rest of his career here. Guess what he doesn't have? A negative attitude. I believe, if I'm paraphrasing, he said, I would have booed me too. And he took it in stride, and he kept going out there, and now he's our biggest clutch player that we have.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate that he gets. I
And
like him.
at a point in the season where we should be sitting here worried about the New York Yankees even making the friggin' playoffs, we have to take 20 minutes and bow to the altar of our playoff god, Giancarlo Stanton, because he deserves it. And that conversation pissed me off. There is no Yankee fan alive that should ever sit there and disrespect Giancarlo Stanton. I still have people in my mention saying, "Oh, I'd get him off the team. Look at his shut your mouth." And if you feel that way and you're listening to me, I love you. Thank you for the support, but also shut up.
Probably my dad. Probably a phantom thing. Commenting.
I've always joked, like, just get me to October, G. That's it. Just get me to October. I don't need to see you to April through September. But the Yankees need him. And I think this stretch here, since he's been off the IL, shows you what a team player he is and how valuable he is to this team.
Or his pep talk that we don't get swept at home and all that, and then they come out and he's more valuable than most people give him credit for.
He's the one, and I'm not knocking Aaron Judge here, but he's the one telling you that this American League championship is not good enough. That I don't want to see anybody wearing these American League championship rings because this means this isn't what we want here. He's the one that's coming out and saying that. I don't better not see any of yous wearing that ring. He said that. Because we're the New York Yankees. We have higher aspirations here. But go ahead and tell me that you're a Yankee fan and he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame with 500 home runs. Go ahead and tell me that one. Because you sound ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
And yeah, I saw, just briefly, it's tough. It's tough watching Aaron Judge not hit with a lot of power right now. And he had the home run the other night. Look, man, that elbow is probably really bothering him, and that's probably why we're not seeing him hit with a lot of power. But he's got to find a way to get it going here. If he's good enough to play the outfield, then he's got to find a way to get it going here because when him and Stan are hot together, the Yankees are nearly unbeatable. And I hate to say this because we spent a lot of time talking about this injury and the subsequent slump post IL has cost Aaron Judge the MVP award. I don't think he gets it now. unless he goes on a tear and gets to 50.
That's what I was just gonna say. Because it's almost puts it like everyone's Cal Raleigh, and you know what? I
They wanted
guess
they wanted to give it to Cal Raleigh. They couldn't because of the season Judge was having, but the injury and him coming back and not hitting has allowed them to give it to Cal Raleigh. And that's fine. I'm not going to argue it at that point. I mean, we have these conversations at a point in time, and now we're at a different point in time where if you're going to give it to Cal Raleigh now, you're going to give it. But if Judge gets to 50 while hitting close to 340, it's his. So
agreed. There's just a lot to digest as a Yankee fan right now. There's a lot of things going on. It's frustrating because we're not where we should be because this team should not be what this team is. I mean, when we were at the game the other day, and I know where we were sitting, you couldn't see, but Jazz's swing again is huge. He's trying to send a ball into orbit all the time. Instead of just playing baseball, it's everybody not doing what they just should be doing. This team on paper should just be destroying people and it's not happening, and that's what makes it even more frustrating. Because as you go and we get people, and you get this, you get that, like, oh wow, the team after the trade deadline, oh, this team is much better than when it was. We were all talking about, is the team better without Soto, with the guys that we put together? Plan B, is it better? But we're having problems too because Max Fried isn't pitching like the way he had been pitching. Max Fried needs to get his shit together. You know, there's so many different factors that just aren't going the Yankees' way right now. And
well, if you
you
look at
didn't
this recent stretch here for the Yankees over the last 6-7 weeks, track that with what Max Fried and Carlos Rodon have both been doing. Neither one of them have been getting deep into the games.
it becomes an issue. So, you could have Bednar all you want, or what the hell's the other guy? Duvall, who was actually, I've been waiting for him. I know I probably haven't watched every one of his pitches, but I was waiting to see those, breaking. He was breaking 100 miles an hour there. They was cutter, and that's what I've been waiting to see. But like, you add all this, and you got all pumped about it, but now we're not even really in a position where it matters. So, or then what's his name ran into the wall the other day,
Rosario.
And you're like, oh, it's just nothing's going right. And this team, even without the people added, this team is better than what they're playing. And that's what drives you mad as a Yankees fan, because you don't know what it is. You're not up there. I'm not in the dugout. I don't know what's going on. I'm just sitting there watching it every night. And this team is better. So if we don't make the playoffs, yeah, it's gonna be a real kick in the nuts because this team has every potential to win the American League.
And you know what? And this is the last thing I want to talk about today, and we'll do it briefly. I don't want the show to run into the hour and a half territory here, but Michael K brought this up today while he was doing his Boone nerd voice, which, I mean, if you're going to be Tommy Tough Guy on the radio show, you have to do the Boone nerd voice in front of Aaron Boone and see what Aaron Boone says. Okay? That's just what you have to do.
You got
Anyway.
it.
He said he doesn't get the people that want the Yankees to miss the postseason, which I'm in lockstep with that. I don't get you guys that want the Yankees to miss the postseason because, number one, is it really going to affect change? More than likely not.
No.
And number two, if the Yankees get in, that means that they played well down the stretch here. And again, is it going to mask some of the deficiencies, especially that are going to play bad teams? Yeah, it probably will. But you never know if something clicks. And does any team in the American League truly scare you to the point where you don't think a Yankee team that was playing like it did in April and May can beat them in a series? Just conversely, you can also say all those teams can easily beat the Yankees. And the Yankees can easily beat all those teams. So I'm not one sitting here saying that the Yankees should miss the postseason because I think it's stupid. Again, there's that word again. It's stupid to root against your own team that you root for, especially when the reason you're going to do it will never happen in the first place. And you're in a situation here where you really shouldn't be scared of anybody in the American League. If the Yankees play clean baseball, they can play against the Toronto Blue Jays. If the Yankees play clean baseball, and maybe this is why they didn't win the World Series last year, because they didn't exercise that demon in the Houston Astros. Maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe we need another shot at in the ALCS against the Houston Astros here. We know that they can beat the friggin' Mariners. The Tigers have come back to earth. It scares you if you'd have to play Skubal twice in a series. But I mean, can't you find a way to win the other 3 or 4 games in that series? Let's be real here. Who's the other wild card? We said Seattle, Boston. Yeah, Boston's had our number again. Garrett Crochet, but again, I mean, like we're talking here, we're playing them in a 7-game series. I'm not afraid of the Red Sox, even though they kicked their ass all year long. Where the Yankees are playing their brand of baseball, and I don't mean like their sloppy baseball, the brand that got them to 17 games over 500. You really shouldn't be fearful of the American League here. There's no superpower in the American League this year. That's why wishing the Yankees missed the postseason to get Boone fired when that's not even going to happen is silly. Maybe silly is a better word than stupid. I don't know. Is stupid too harsh?
No, idiotic is what the word I would use. No one's firing Boone. Boone's doing exactly what they want to do. That's why I said before, I'm not even gonna say Aaron Boone's the one making the lineup. Someone's doing it. Aaron Boone's just the face. He's the one going out there and doing it. He's the talking head. He goes out, he's doing exactly what they want him to do. He's not putting up a fight, he's not arguing, he's not benching anybody, pissing anybody off. Boone's gonna be marched out there all the time.
Doesn't look like we're going to gain any ground on the Guardians. They're up 9-4 against the Marlins going into the 9th inning or to the 8th. Seriously, like Marlins, go fuck yourselves, okay?
Yeah.
You sweep us, make us look like a bunch of bums, and now we need you to help us out here, return the favor, if you want to call it that, and you can't even beat the Guardians.
It's just
the Mariners lost to the Orioles today, so the Yankees are 2 back in the loss column of Seattle for the top wild card. They're a game behind Boston for the second wild card. I mean, there's still 6 back of Toronto. I would say the American League East is probably a long shot or a pipe dream at this point, but I mean, there's no reason why the Yankees can't get to that top wild card spot and at least play that series at Yankee Stadium. Because the top wild card hosts the second wild card. I mean, I would hate to go into game 1 of the division series of with the prospects of Cam Schlittler. No disrespect to him being the game 1 starter, but I also feel a lot better about the Yankees if they were hosting that wild card series. Well, we got a ways to go here. We got about 40. What do we got here? Like 40 games left in the season. 41 to be exact. There's 41 games left in the season. And the next 3 here are going to be against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals, let me bring up the schedule here. The Cardinals are 61-61. So, very average baseball team here. And it's going to be Luis Gil tomorrow at 8:15 against Andre Palante, who has an ERA near 5, so he'll probably, throw 6 shutout innings against the Yankees. And then 7:15 on Saturday. I'm telling you right now, because we're actually going to the what is it? The 30th or the 30? What's the year? What's the anniversary? Why are they doing this on Sunday?
Oh, 1987 or 1980s. It's the
No, the
30. It's a 35th year.
35th anniversary.
Yeah.
We are going to see the original Ninja Turtle movie in the theaters for the 35th anniversary. We're going to do that on Sunday. Come home, watch the Yankees, then do a podcast about it. Okay. But that's what we're doing Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to be in that movie theater on Sunday afternoon if I have to sit there on Saturday night watching Sonny Gray outduel Max Fried. I'm going to jump in the Passaic River. Sonny Gray's not having a great year this year, 406 against Max Fried, who has to step up here. He has to. because I got morons telling me that he's not really an ace. He's at best a 3. At best a 3. I don't even know what to say to that. The guy's had the best ERA in baseball since 2021, but he's at best a 3. I understand he's been terrible the last 6 or 7 starts. No one's going to defend him. I'm not defending him. At best a 3. This is the type of shit that I have to hear. Please go out there and outduel Sonny Gray. Can you do that for me, please, Max? I cannot take it. My mentality, my brain, my whatever it is, I can't even spit the words out because I don't even want to think about it. Of seeing the Yankees lose a 7-1 ball game where Sonny Gray goes 6 2/3, allows 1 run on 3 hits, and Max Fried is knocked down in the 5th inning. I can't take that. I will not be able to take that. And then we'll wrap up the series at 2:15 on Sunday. So I like the later start time there because we won't. I live 5 minutes from the theater, so I really won't miss much of the game. Will Warren against Miles Mikolas with his near 5 ERA. I mean, this is a very winnable series for the Yankees. Very winnable. Got to get greedy at some point here and get some sweeps. And it starts tomorrow with Luis Gil on the mound.
I'm just excited for the Turtle movie now.
I know you are.
Super pumped.
I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. I'm looking forward.
I wasn't even born, I think, when it was in theaters the first time, so I never even actually had a chance to go see it.
Yes, you were.
No, it came out in 1987.
You came out in 1987.
So the movie.
Do you know how math works?
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Please
Turtles.
tell me you know how math works.
I do, but that's why I'm confused by what year it's.
So if
it
it's
came out in 1990.
Right, so the 35th anniversary, right? How old are you?
Oh, the Predator came out in 1987. That's what I was thinking of. My apologies.
And
Yeah.
we're going. I don't know if you can come if you want to. I'm definitely going. The 40th. I can't believe this. The 40th anniversary of Rocky IV is this year, and they're re-releasing it in theaters in November.
Yeah, I'll probably go see it as long as it's not on like a pheasant hunting day.
Well, it's surrounded by my trip to Philly. So the Rocky Run is that Saturday, and it's in Wayne. It's going to be on Wednesday night and then on Sunday afternoon. So it's either do I want to see it before we go to Philly or do I want to see it after I get back from Philly?
I'll go see it on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. I've only seen one Rocky movie in the theaters, and that's probably part of the reason why it's my favorite movie of all time. But okay, Sports for Life is coming. I don't know where he's coming to, but he's coming. He says, I'm coming, Christian. I don't know if he's just telling me he's doing something right now, and he felt the need to announce it to the chat, or if he's going to the Turtle movie, or if he's going to the Rocky Run, or if he's going to see Rocky IV, because we're talking about a lot of different things here. But on that note, I think it's time to say goodnight. Would you agree? Would you agree with that?
I would agree. Mm-hmm.
Danny, I'm not going to see the Phillies, and Phillies the runs in November, so we're not going to see the Phillies. Okay.
Nobody wants to go see a Phillies sports team in Philly. Ew.
So if you've been in the chat tonight, we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Thursday evening. If you haven't done so already, smack the like button and make sure that you are subscribed to the NYY Underground channel here on YouTube. Be part. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you guys are part of the next 50K. Uncle Dom, unfortunately, this is going to be the first NYYU day that I'm going to miss. You guys did a fantastic job buying those tickets. So congratulations to the NYYU community. We do have the best community in the entire Yankee content creation land. You guys snapped up all the tickets, and besides, it is a little bit of a scheduling conflict for me because my daughter will be having her first cheerleading game. That's not the real thing you say, right?
Performance.
You're
outing.
Yeah, I guess the football players are playing the game and she's cheering on the sidelines. But like, how do you phrase that? So I couldn't go to the game, even the tickets were available. I couldn't go to the game because I got to be. I'm a cheer dad now. Okay, that's what I am. I'm a cheer dad.
Nice.
That's your goddaughter, dickhead. You better show up at one of these games.
Yeah, but you're a cheer dad. I'm not a cheer dad.
You're a cheer god dad.
My daughters hunt and play softball.
And my daughter watches Rocky, so who's really the winner in life here? Okay. So we love you guys in the chat tonight. Please make sure you are subscribed to the show on your favorite podcast platform. We're not going to be back on the U until August 24th, but there will be a couple of shows in between. We don't want you guys to miss anything, so make sure you head over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Uncle Dom, I appreciate that, man. I try my best. I really do. Hopefully it's good enough and we lead her down the right path in life. So make sure you are subscribed to the show on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss us, because like I said, we're not going to be back on the U until the 24th here. Is that right? I feel like I have the wrong date.
That's a Sunday.
No, we're recording on the 24th. We're not back on the U until the 27th. It's a Wednesday. The Yankees are playing a day game there. We'll be back after that on the 27th. So we have 2 scheduled shows in between the next time that we are on NYYU. We don't want you guys in the chat to miss them. So please go on, like I said, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe to NYYST there. While you're there, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. And we want to thank everybody for the continued support. Thank you very much for listening and watching episode 486. Sam, say goodbye.
Bye.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. But a new crib, that's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next. Can't take calls with a send.